Next page is that firms that operate internationally, we try to expand the market for their domestic product offering by selling those products in the international markets. Okay, we not only selling our domestically, but we offer our product in the international markets. Okay, then what kind of benefit we can have? Because once it is the case, then we can realize the location economy by dispersing individual value creation activity to the locations around the globe where they can be performed most efficiently and effectively. Okay. For example, we have R&D, we have the productions, we have the sales and the marketing, we have the services, right? Think about Apple. Apple, they believe that in America they can do the R&D the best. Okay. But in China, China can produce the most good quality and the most cost-effective activities. They can be done in China. So that's why Apple, they are doing R&D in the United States, but they are locate their production base in China. So therefore, that's the reason why they can realize the Chinese location economy, because China is so good in manufacturing. So Apple can tap into that advantages, to China. So this is what we call it as a location economy. Location economy means some locations they can do something better than the others. For example, in the East Asia, sometimes I feel the country in the East Asia, our East Asian people, we are more diligent, we are more hardworking, so we are the best manufacturer base in the world. Okay, so another reason for that is that we can realize the greater cost economies. Okay, once we already utilized, make best use of the location economy, because we sell it more in different countries, so we can gain greater cost economy, from experience effect by serving an expanding global market from central locations. Okay, so thereby we can reduce the cost of the value creations. So that means in a central locations that we can producing huge amounts of the products. So therefore we can reduce our cost, unit cost, by expanding our output volumes. So the unit cost will be systematically going down. That is what we call as experience effects. Okay. So once you have experience effects, that means you are more cost economy. You enjoy the cost economy. Also, we earn a greater returns by leveraging any valuable skill developed in foreign operations and transferring them to other entities within the firm's global network of operations. So what is leverage? Leverage sometimes in English meaning is try to make best use of it. So we can earn greater return by making best use of any our valuable skill developed in any different countries. Okay. For example, Apple was in China, so Apple also gained a lot of experiences in the East Asia operations. So they can transfer the skill they developed in the East Asia to the rest of the its foreign subsidiary in different countries, make it become the best practices. So we have the idea called the global network of operations. Global network operations, that means we are operating in a global network. Okay, we are working closely, also working relatively to each others to make the cost effective and also increase our value creations. Now let's talking about the global expansions, profitability, and the profit growth. In these chapters, basically we are talking about why the firms they have the intentions to go international. Okay, why is there is intentions for the firms to go internationally? And you know that once we expanding the markets overseas, there is a potential benefit for them. That is to leverage the products and the competencies. Therefore, we can increase the growth. Firms can sell products or services developed at home in the foreign markets to gain more profits or to increase your profitability. In order, if it like to be success, it depends on the type of the goods and services and the firm's core competencies. What is the core competencies? Core competency means the skill within the firms that competitors cannot easily match or imitate. Okay, so that is what we call it as core competencies. Okay, core competencies sometimes from the perspective of the so-called resource-based view, they are also resources. Okay, resource-based view, we try to explain why the firms they have a higher different the above average profitability. Once you are above the average profitability, that means you have the competitive advantages. Once you have competitive advantages, it must have some unique resources which others cannot easily match or imitate. Okay, so the core competencies, actually this idea derived from the resource-based view. So the core competencies can enable the firms to reduce the cost of the value creations. Or we can create perceived value so that the premium price is possible. So why is the premium price is above? Premium price means you can sell above the average selling price. Once you can sell at a higher above the average selling price, then we call it as a premium price. 我们就是说可以卖更高的价格，卖比平均更高的价格，我们叫 premium price. Okay. And also, they are the sources of the firm's competitive advantages. So the core competencies is the source of the competitive advantages. As I just said, this is the very key important the concept derived from the resource-based view. Okay, now let's talk about core competencies. Okay, core competency is some resources which is the competitor difficult to copy or imitate. Okay, for example, P&G, its core competencies is in marketing. Why it is in marketing? Because there is evidence. Its marketing and its brand images can enable its all the brands to sell at a higher price in some developed country, for example in China. So we can see why all they can sell at a higher price compared to the average price. Okay, the premium price coming from the brand name and its marketing techniques. Okay, so that's why we call the marketing is the core competencies for P&G. Now let's talking about what is the location economy. I just mentioned that firms they can locate value creation activities where the economy, political and cultural conditions are most conducive to the performance of their activities. For example, as I said, the China and the Vietnam, they are the two commonly seen production base for the Western companies because they have some advantages in productions. Okay. So therefore, firms, if they set up their production subsidiary in China or Vietnam, they can successfully realize the location economy because they can performing a value creation activity in these optimal locations for their productions activities. Wherever in the world that might be, okay. For example, like a design, a lot of the design company, they like to set up their design house in Italy. Or the other like car makers like to set up their design house in Germany because those places are most suitable to performing the R&D activities in these particular industries. Also, location economy is also locating value creation activity in optimal locations, which can lead to the lower the cost of the value creations, and also can enable firms to differentiate its product offering from those of the competitors. Okay, for example, if you produce, as I said, your R&D activities is in Italy or in Germany, okay, then you can market the German design or Italian designs in your product as well. For example, like the Korean car, they particularly like to mention that they are using the German designer or the Italian designer and so forth. And create a global web. Multinationals take advantages of the location economy, so therefore they create a global wave of the value creation activities, because you disperse your value creation activity in many different locations around the globe. R&D in different countries, okay. The production in another countries, okay. Marketing and sales in some other countries, and the services are also in other countries as well. So it creates a global waves, okay. Under these strategies, different stages of the value creations, okay, are dispersed into those specialized locations around the globe where the perceived value is maximized, or where the cost of value creations are minimized. Okay. Particularly, we have to take into consideration about the transportation cost and the trade barrier into considerations. Okay. Because if, for example, like the China, and there is the Sino-US trade war. Okay. The barrier between China to United States gradually increased. So lots of the firms, they are thinking Vietnam is the second alternatives. Okay. And also the political and the economic risks must be assessed when making the location decisions. For example, in the year 2021, the Burma, or you call it the Myanmar, has a coup d'etat, the military coup. Okay. So the government, democratic elected government, was overthrown. So therefore, it is quite difficult for the international firms to continue to carry on as a business as usual. And experience curve, I just mentioned that. Experience curve is a systematic reductions in the production cost that have been observed to occur over the life of a product. Okay. A product's production costs are declining by some quantities, okay, about each time cumulative output doubles. Okay. And the experience curve, okay, also have a particular effects in the previous parts. We call it as a learning effects. Okay. Learning effect is the cost savings that come from the learning by doing. Okay. Particularly, even in a very complex activities, the complex activity like the assembly an airplane. Okay. The first airplane you assembly maybe take about 100 hours, but the second airplane assembly maybe only taking the 90 hours, for example. Okay. You have a 10% discount in terms of your cost saving times. So the labor productivity can increase when the individual learn the most efficient way to perform particular tasks, and the management learn how to manage the new operation more efficiently. Okay, that is what we call learning effects. Okay, so you can see this is the experience curve. Okay, in this experience curve, in the previous parts, from B to A, okay, you see a very quick reductions in the unit cost. We call it as learning effects because you are learning by doing it. So it can very quickly, systematically to reduce your unit cost. Okay. However, okay, after some points, for example, like when you exceeded the point A, okay, you can see the the unit cost is still going down, but it become milder. Why is that? Okay, because learning effect has been finished. Then after A, the cost still going down. It is because largely come from because you increase your output. So the fixed cost was shared by the additional output. Okay, so you still can see this is still steadily to going down. Okay, so this effect we call learning effect, as I said, right? Learning effect. And then the second part after A is the scale economy. Okay, the scale economy means that you increase your production scale, 叫规模经济. You increase your scale, and then you have an advantages to lowering down your unit cost by spreading your fixed cost into the additional unit productions. Okay, so you can see the experience curve, including the economy of scale, okay, and something, okay, the ability to spread the fixed cost over a large volumes, unable to attain the efficient scale of productions unless serving the global markets, okay, and the bargaining power is increased with the supplier, which may allow economy of the scale in purchasing, okay, because once we have a big purchasing amounts, so we increase our bargaining power to our suppliers. Okay, so that is the economy of the scale I just mentioned, or we call it scale economy. Okay, so what is the strategic significance about this? Okay, moving down experience curve allow firms to reduce its cost of creating value and increase its profitabilities. Okay, once firm has established local positions, it can act as a barrier to the new competitions. Because once we are there, we can raise the entry barrier. If your cost is higher than me, so what is any meanings for you to go into this area or not? According to this, I show you in the previous parts. Okay, I give you two scenario. This is a company A. Its unit cost is around here, right? It's a cost A. Okay, if you are a new company, you are new in these businesses. Because you are new, so your market share is also limited. So your output volume is also limited. So your cost unit cost is around cost B. Okay, much higher than that. Okay, so think about this scenario. If the companies A, okay, their producing quantity is A, their price is around here, price A. Okay, but think about this, because your cost is around here, so you must charge a little bit higher than your cost, right? So the price B is there. Okay, you are the new brands, relatively unknown to the consumers, but you sell the price at a much higher price compared to your the incumbent competitors. Can you survive? I think it's difficult, right? It's very difficult for you to survive. So that's the reason why, okay, in this chart we say, once we have established low-cost positions by experience effects, then we can act as an entry barrier for the new competitions. We can deter new competitors to go into the industries, because it's difficult for you to compete in terms of cost and the price as well, and not to mention the brand names, because you are already long in the industries, you already have some brand loyalty to the consumers. Okay, so it's kind of imbalanced competitions. Okay. And also we can leverage our subsidiary skill. Okay, we have to recognize that the valuable skill can be developed anywhere within the firms, the global networks. Okay. So for example, like the Taiwanese companies, when they are in China, actually they gain a lot of experiences in China as well. Think about Foxconn, Fusikan. Foxconn is a Taiwanese company. They grow up in Taiwan. But when Foxconn moved to China, they become much bigger, much bigger. So you can think about that. When Foxconn was in Taiwan, Hon Hai was in Taiwan, it was just a small, medium-sized enterprises. But when Foxconn is in China, it becomes one of the IT giant of the world. They coordinate with Apple and other top leading brands around the globe. So if the Foxconn still in Taiwan, they cannot have these opportunities to work with Apple and other international leading brand names together. Okay, so Foxconn can learn a lot of skill when he was in China. Okay, they can bring in back to Taiwan as well. Okay, and second, we can use the incentive system to encourage local employees to acquire new skill. We can encourage them to have a collective thinking to sort it out the problem or sort it out the problem they faced. Sometimes there is some very interesting new inventions from the buttons. Okay. And also we can develop a process to identify where the new skill has been created. For example, like the 3M, encourage the staff to have their spare time to do their own project and to do what they are going to do. Once they have created, then they can have a much better contributions, particularly through the innovations. And they can also act as a facilitators to transfer valuable skill within the firms. The company, we can act as a facilitators. We can transfer valuable skill within the firms. Another example from Foxconn. Foxconn acquired the Sharp monitor firms. They also can transfer some valuable skill from its subsidiary to other subsidiary in China or in the other different countries. So that is the so-called the global webs. Global web enable you to leverage the subsidiary skill. And also, firms that expanding internationally can increase their profitability and profit growth by the followings. Entering markets where the competitor lack the similar competencies. Yes, okay. The locals, they don't have a similar product offering and they don't have a similar competencies. We can take advantages from this vacuum. Second is to realize location economy. Third, exploiting experience curve effects. Four, you can transfer valuable skill within the organizations. Okay. If you can make best use of this, then you tend to have a good profitability and a profit growth, okay, in general. So that is the reason why company they like to go internationally.